Saturn in Aquarius. In this video, I'm going to be discussing Saturn in Aquarius, everything you need to know about having this placement and how to master this placement. Now, this placement is very special to me, and this video will go on to be very special to me because I have my Saturn, my natal Saturn in Aquarius, and having my natal Saturn in Aquarius is a big part of the reason why I started this astrology channel. Okay, because Saturn in Aquarius, you see, I got to get into everything first before I can discuss it after, but my point is that this is very special to me, and I have my natal Saturn in Aquarius, and that's the reason why I started this astrology channel. So I'm going to expand on that a little bit further towards the end of this video. But another thing I want to touch on before I get into this is that make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button if you've liked my previous videos, if you go on to like this video and you'd like to be notified about my future videos. All right, help grow the channel and help to be a part of the astrology community. All right, so let's discuss Saturn in Aquarius, everything you need to know. All right. So when you have Saturn in Aquarius, this is similar to having Saturn in the 11th house. So what this means is that you need to study Saturn in the 11th house as well, even if your Saturn is in a different house, because Aquarius rules the 11th house. So let's say you have your natal Saturn in the second house like me. That's fine. Study natal Saturn in the second house. But you also need to study natal Saturn in the 11th house because that information applies to you as well. Now, this person, in order to mature and become an adult, they have to master what Aquarius represents and is associated with. Saturn is all about what you need to do to mature, become an adult, and what you need to master. And you have to make the connection as far as the sign that it's in and really cover what the sign represents and is associated with. So when you have this placement, you have to master science and technology. You have to master dealing with friends and having and friendship, and you have to master groups, networking and clubs and being a part of clubs and all those sorts of things. Just basically organizations and being involved with others, networking and so on and so forth. You have to master being a revolutionary, having that revolutionary spirit and being a humanitarian. You have to master being a detached, rational, and objective person. Okay, so these are all the things that Aquarius represents and is associated with. Now, you might not master all of these things, but it's important for you to master at least one of these things in life. Now, this person, when living out Saturn in Aquarius in a healthy way. So this is when you're expressing Saturn in Aquarius in a healthy, positive, high vibrational way. You master science and technology. You master the concept of being detached. You don't become overly attached to anyone or anything. You master dealing with friends, networking, and being a part of a group and clubs. You master being innovative and tapping into your inner genius. You master being a humanitarian and servicing humanity. All right, so these are all the things that you learn to master when you're living out your Saturn in Aquarius in a healthy way. Again, you master science and technology. You master the concept of being detached. You don't become overly attached to anyone or anything. You master dealing with friends, networking, being a part of groups and clubs. You master being innovative and tapping into your inner genius. And you master being a humanitarian and servicing humanity. Now, this person, when living out Saturn in Aquarius in a negative way, this is when you're operating in a low vibration and you're not operating at your highest self as it relates to Saturn in Aquarius. You're too detached from others. You don't want friends and you avoid getting attached to any group or club. Basically, you're the type of person, you're very detached from others. You don't want friends. You don't want to connect with others. You don't want to be a part of clubs and stuff like that and networking and things that will bring you closer to others. You try to avoid those things. You don't know how to express your inner genius or you're afraid to. You can be cold and rigid when dealing with others. You don't service humanity and you have no humanitarian spirit. You're afraid of being seen as radical or odd or weird. You get involved with the wrong clubs, groups, friends, and networks, ones that lead you in the wrong direction. So this is when you see Saturn in Aquarius being expressed in a negative way. You're too detached from others. You don't get involved in anything. You don't even try to network and connect with others. You don't know how to express your inner genius. There's an inner genius in you, but you don't know how to express it, or you're afraid to. You're afraid that people won't like you or people will think that you're weird. You're too cold and too rigid when you're dealing with others. You don't service humanity and you have no humanitarian spirit. Or that spirit is in you, but you choose not to express it. You're afraid of being seen as radical or odd. It's okay to be seen as radical or odd. So what? You get involved with the wrong clubs, groups, friends, and networks, ones that lead you in the wrong direction, okay? So you have to make sure that you're not expressing your Saturn in Sagittarius in a negative way. There are fears and insecurities surrounding being able to express what makes you a genius and you unique. Being able to express your inner humanitarian and help humanity in some way. Being a loner and feeling like you don't fit in. See, Saturn has to do with all of your fears and insecurities that you need to overcome. So you need to overcome those fears and insecurities surrounding, oh man, I know I'm a genius and I know there's something about me that makes me very unique, but I'm afraid to express it. I have an inner humanitarian and I want to help humanity and help people in some kind of way, but I don't express it. Oh man, I'm a loner, I don't fit in, nobody likes me. You got to overcome that. You have to overcome these fears and insecurities surrounding these matters. You are a genius, express that. So what? Be your genius self. Don't worry about if people don't like you. Stop telling yourself that you're not a genius. You are a genius. There is a genius in you. You do have that inner humanitarian. You are here to help humanity in some way. Stop worrying about being a loner and like you don't fit in. Fit in with yourself. Okay? The father is seen as, right? Saturn tells you how you see your father and the type of experience you had with your father. So the father is seen as a man that is Aquarius like, aloof, detached, odd, a man that is into science and technology, a man that is a revolutionary, humanitarian, or he could be seen as a man that is alone and or isolated. And a lot of times when you have this placement, there tends to be detachment and separation surrounding the father and associated with the father. So a lot of times you tend to be, at some point you become separated from your father. Celebrity examples that have Saturn in Aquarius: Michelle Obama, Jim Carrey, Michael Jordan, and Jeff Bezos. Now, with Michelle Obama, we see this because she has a revolutionary spirit. From what I understand, she started some organization to like help young girls or something like that. But once I saw that, I knew, I was like, okay, that's her Saturn in Aquarius. She literally created some kind of organization to help young girls and so on and so forth. So that's that, because that's Saturn in Aquarius. You help humanity, you service humanity, and you help people. Jim Carrey, how we see this with him is he's very radical and he's very odd and very weird and he's very big on science. From what I understand, he's a Scientologist. And if you watch his interviews, you'll think, man, this dude is a nut job, because he'll say stuff like, reality is not real, we're not real, and stuff like that. So if you're not into science, you'll think this guy is crazy. Michael Jordan, we saw this as it relates to separation from the father, because when he was going through his Saturn return, he lost his father, and it impacted him very deeply. He actually retired because of it. He was very close to his father, and when his Saturn return came, he was separated from his father. His father was tragically shot on the side of the road. Jeff Bezos, I mean, master of technology. This guy is the CEO of Amazon. I mean, that's self-explanatory. I don't even need to say anything about that. We clearly see that he lived out his Saturn in Aquarius in a healthy way. He mastered science and technology. He literally created one of the greatest companies ever, which just so happens to be centered around being an online retail store. Okay? So that's Saturn in Aquarius, and that's pretty much everything you need to know about Saturn in Aquarius. But to quickly expand on what I was trying to say before, is that the reason why this placement is so special to me is and this video is so special to me is because this is the reason why I started this astrology channel, is because I'm trying to live out my Saturn in Aquarius in a healthy way. I'm trying to master the science and technology and really master being a humanitarian. All this information that I've learned about astrology, I'm giving that back to humanity, because I want humanity to have that same understanding that I've gained and help people understand themselves better through astrology. Okay? So that's Saturn in Aquarius. And make sure you comment down below, all my Saturn in Aquarius natives. Let me know what you think. And again, the reason why this is special to me is because this can kind of be a tough placement. The reason why it can kind of be a tough placement is because when you have Saturn in Aquarius, you do struggle with feeling like you're a loner. You feeling like you don't fit in, like you don't have friends. But you just got to overcome that. You just got to overcome that. Tap into your inner genius. Be your true Aquarius self, service humanity, Be detached, be rational, be objective, and just live out your dreams. Master science and technology, and master friends, master networking, and you'll be all right. And you'll eventually fit in and have the success that you're looking for and become a true adult. All right, so that's Saturn in Aquarius. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Thank you for taking the time out to watch my video. Take care.